A proposal in California that would have lowered the cap that the state has on rents under their rent control policy from 10% down to 5% failed. However, they're still pushing for strong eviction protections that will cost landlords thousands of dollars. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have an update to a video I just did, just a few days ago, and it has to do with the proposal in California to lower the statewide cap on rent increases from 10% down to 5%. Now, apparently it's failed, okay? They were able to get that part of the law stripped out, and they're, able to keep that 10% cap. Now, this isn't a win. This is it's not as bad as it, could have been. That's all this really is, okay? So they're still stuck under a statewide cap on rent increases, and there's nothing they really can do about it at this time. Plus, they're going to make the evictions protections in the state even worse by doing stuff like saying, hey, we're going to make it harder for you to move your family members into a unit. If you want to evict the tenant so that your family member can move in there, we're going to make that even harder. If you want to upgrade your unit, do a lot of renovations, we're going to make that darn near impossible. So, what do you think is going to happen with all this? People are going to say, well, you know what? I don't want to be in this landlord business. I don't want to have to deal with these horrible eviction protections. But, it's absolutely ridiculous. It is just dumb, in my opinion, to put so many restrictions on what a person can do with their property. It's not like the majority of landlords are doing something wrong. The only thing is that small landlords in particular are the ones who get caught up in all this nonsense. And that's what I hate seeing. So before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below, and let me know what you think. What do you think of those provisions of the law that make it harder to remove a tenant in order to do renovations and harder to remove a tenant if you want a family member to move into the unit? I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Okay, I mean, these things, they are some of the few reasons we have. What they're telling us is the tenant has more rights to your property than you as the property owner. You are under the service of this tenant. You don't deserve to make a profit. You don't deserve to be able to do what you want and have free use of this property. So you have no reason to buy the property, in my opinion. Okay, so yeah, I mean, they're stripping property rights away from people, and it will be absolutely disastrous. Here's a question for you, and I can see something like this happening. Let's say we have a building or a house, a single family home, right? And it falls under, these eviction protections, right? But the person is only renting one bedroom inside that house. So let's say that you need to get that person out of that one bedroom so that you can move a family member into that bedroom. Are they telling you you can't do that? I don't know. I don't know what the exact details of the law are. Maybe they exempt single family homes, but they don't make that exactly clear. Okay, so let's get into this article and see what it says. This article is coming from westsidetoday.com, and it says California Eviction Protection Bill amended to remove the rent cap provision. Senator Durazo's amended eviction protection bill moves forward in California Senate. Yeah, it's still moving forward. Just the part that lowered the rent cap from 10% maximum rent increase per year down to 5%, that was removed. That's the only part. So yeah, there still is a cap. Anyway, not a big victory for landlords. A provision to cap rent increases at the Consumer Price Index inflation rate and lower the maximum threshold to 5% will not be included in California Eviction Protection Bill, removing an important part of the renter's protections included in the original text as reported by the Sacramento Bee. The Senate Judiciary Committee seemed to favor Senator Maria Elena Durazo's legislation to strengthen a 2019 bill that established a 10% statewide rent cap and prevented landlords from evicting tenants without just cause. However, the committee's approval depended on removing the rent cap provision in Senate Bill 567. Under existing law, rent hikes are capped at 5% plus inflation with a maximum of 10%, but single family and mobile homes are exempt. So the maximum rent increase is 5%, but, no, I'm sorry, I'm saying that incorrectly. The rent increase is capped at 5% plus the rate of inflation, which like last year was 8%, So that would be 13%, but they said, well, the maximum can be 10%. So landlords aren't even able to increase their rents in order to cover their costs. And then they were trying to lower that even more. What a ridiculous joke. This is horrible. And I'm glad they at least stripped that part out. But there's a lot of landlords who are still struggling because the statewide rent cap, as it is right now, is still insufficient. It's not good enough. They need to remove any sort of cap whatsoever. And the only thing it's doing is making development even harder in the state of California. This is why, you look at all of the different regulations, and there's people who they get on here and they're like, oh, no, you know what? There's not that many regulations. Well, you're thinking of just regulations for real estate, right? When they build new housing now, they're talking about, hey, we're going to require all new housing to have solar panels on the roof. This is the kind of idiocy that you hear. They're like, solar panels. Yeah, I mean, this isn't a regular, you know, uh, legislation that has to do with real estate. This is something that's saying, oh, well, all developers have, and you know what? It adds a huge cost to the homes. It adds so much cost, in fact, that the housing prices go up even higher. Then, when we're talking about just plain development, they act like building further out, building more housing is evil or something, right? Oh, we don't want to hurt the environment. Well, I understand that you don't want to hurt the environment, but don't sit here and whine and complain that, hey, housing is super expensive and we don't understand why the population is declining. Well, it's the environmental things that you put in there. If you want to not hurt the environment, maybe you should come up with a compromise solution that would help instead of hinder real estate development. But anyway, let me continue. Durazo aims to close eviction protection loopholes by amending the bill to tighten existing rules that allow evictions when landlords want to move in or rent to family members, substantially renovate a unit, or remove a rental from the market. So, yeah, basically, what Durazo wants to do is say, okay, you can never ever go out of the rental business, ever. Okay, you have to remain in the business. You cannot sell. No, you own a rental property. You want to go out of the business and then kick these people? No, these people, they have a right to your property. Okay. Oh, you want to move into your own place? No, you can't do that. It's not like you own it or something. The government owns it or the tenant owns it. That's what these people are saying. They think that the government is the true owner of these properties and not the person who purchased it. Okay, they want to cut away the landlord's ability to make a profit. They want to take away all the rights that you get when you buy a property, right? The right to enjoy it, to have the freedom to do with it what you please. And you don't have to be a landlord if you don't want to. Okay? But they're telling you, yes, you do have to be a landlord even if you don't want to. That's how idiotic this stuff is. I read about other laws that were being proposed about, taxing second homes that people own. So a person who owns a home, let's say in let's say Omaha, Nebraska, but then has a second home in California, they're going to start taxing you for keeping it empty for too long because they want you to rent it out. Even if you just want to use it as a vacation home, nope, you have to rent it out or you have to pay taxes. I believe that I read that was going to, be proposed in the city of San Francisco. But this is the kind of idiocy you see in California, right? Rather than addressing the true issues of why housing is so expensive and why there is a shortage of housing, they want to punish those who have housing. Okay? They want to punish the landlords for having the audacity to provide housing. I talk to people all the time. I tell people in Omaha, I own 5 single family homes, right? I own 5 single family homes here, but it's not like I keep them empty. Other people live in all those houses, okay? I'm actually providing housing to all those people. And if I, am the one providing this housing, then you would think, oh, well, this guy, he's doing a service to the area. He's providing housing to renters who need nice places to live. He's doing all the maintenance for them. And he's, helping keep his community, nice and safe by taking good care of this property. But no, they want to talk a mess about you as though you're a leech, as though you're greedy. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm providing the housing, but I do deserve to make a profit off of that housing too. And the people of California, they seem to think that landlords don't deserve to make a profit. They don't deserve to have the rights to do what they want with their properties. And so they keep just taking those rights away. The committee approved the amended bill by a 9-2 vote, but committee chair Thomas Umberg warned that the bill's approval hinged on continued negotiations over how to enforce the strengthened rules. Advocates say enforcing the current laws currently falls on tenants who lack the resources and time needed to fight evictions. And that's a good point right there, okay? So they're saying that they've implemented all these laws, but they don't have the bureaucracy in place in order to actually enforce them. Now, they shouldn't give them any more ideas, okay? California is already a bureaucratic mess. There's too much bureaucracy already. The last thing they need is to create a new department or a new agency or give new powers to an existing agency to start cracking down on landlords, okay? To start really hurting the mom and pops, because the mom and pops are the ones who are going to struggle with this the most. You know why? Because a lot of them, they don't know the law. They own one rental property, they have been renting it out for years, and then they're like, oh, I want to move my brother or sister into this house, so you're going to have to leave. And next thing you know, they're getting sued by the state, and just losing tens of thousands of dollars, and they can never take possession of their property again, all because they thought, kind of like, oh well, I'm just going to rent this place out, and not really thinking much of it, and they screwed themselves by investing in a state like California, where they have so many rules and regulations that it doesn't benefit you to be a small landlord there. So, what a dumb bill this is.